There's something I've noticed that we don't talk about nearly enough. It's that moment when you cross 60 or 65, and suddenly people start treating you like you're fragile, like you're winding down. And maybe some days you feel that too. Your joints creak a little more than they used to, the energy doesn't come back quite as fast, and you might even start wondering, is this just how it's going to be from now on? But here's the thing, living well past 70 isn't just about luck or good genes. A lot of it comes down to daily habits, things that are totally within our control, even later in life. And yet most people don't realize that. That's why so many of us, especially once we hit those senior years, find our health slipping faster than it needs to. In today's video, we're going to talk about why that happens, and more importantly, what you can do about it. It's not about chasing youth or pretending we're still 30. It's about feeling good, staying strong, and living a life that still brings you joy and purpose. So grab a cup of tea or settle in wherever you're comfortable, because we're diving into something that could really make a difference for you. Let's start with one of the biggest reasons older folks struggle to live longer, healthier lives after 70. And it might surprise you. It's not just illness or bad luck. It's something much quieter. It's isolation. Now, before you say, I'm not lonely, hear me out. Isolation doesn't always look like sitting in a room alone. It can show up in small ways. Skipping lunch with friends because you're tired, not bothering to call your cousin because, what's the point? Or spending a few too many hours watching TV just to fill the silence. And I get it. Life changes as we get older. Kids grow up and move away. Friends move, or sadly pass on. Retirement, while freeing in many ways, also removes that daily social rhythm. And suddenly your world gets smaller without you even realizing it. But here's the thing. Studies have shown that loneliness can be just as damaging to your health as smoking or obesity. It increases the risk of heart disease, cognitive decline, depression, and yes, even early death. It's not just about being alone, it's about feeling alone. But there's good news. This is one of those things that's absolutely within your power to change, no matter your age. And it doesn't mean you have to become a social butterfly overnight. It starts with tiny intentional actions. Try calling someone once a week, just to chat, not because you need anything. Join a walking group or a book club, even if it's online. Volunteer somewhere close by, even if it's just for an hour a week. Get to know your neighbors again. Yes, even if they're younger. And if you're lucky enough to have grandchildren or nieces and nephews, invite them to spend time with you. You don't need to be the life of the party. You just need connection. I once spoke with a gentleman, Peter, who was 78 and told me he hadn't really talked to anyone in 3 days. Not because he didn't want to. He just didn't think anyone had the time. So he started volunteering once a week at the library. At first, he said it felt awkward. But after a month, he told me it gave him something to look forward to. He made a couple of new friends and even started mentoring some of the younger volunteers. That one simple choice brought life back into his days. And that's what connection does. It reminds us that we matter, that we're still part of the world, that our stories, our wisdom, our humor, and even our bad jokes still count for something. So if you're watching this right now and thinking, maybe I have been pulling back a little too much, just know, it's never too late to open the door again. Reach out, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first. You'd be amazed at how quickly your body and mind respond when you start engaging with the world again. Now that we've covered the importance of connection and how it can quietly shape our health after 70, let's move on to something else that plays an even bigger role than most of us realize, but often gets overlooked. So, we just talked about how isolation can quietly wear down your health as you get older. But now let's look at another major factor that has just as much power over how long and how well you live: movement. Now, before you sigh and think I'm about to lecture you about running marathons or doing yoga poses that look like circus tricks, don't worry. I'm not here to push some extreme fitness routine. I want to talk to you about simple, consistent movement, the kind that fits into your everyday life and keeps your body working with you instead of against you. You see, as we get older, it's very easy to slow down. Maybe your knees ache a bit more, or you're afraid of falling, or you just don't feel like you have the energy. So you sit a little more. You take the stairs a little less. Before you know it, your muscles shrink, your balance weakens, and even getting out of a chair starts to feel like a chore. And it's not your fault. No one really teaches us how to move for longevity. But here's the truth. Your body was made to move, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. And when you stop using it, your body starts to think you don't need those muscles or that strong heart or that flexible spine. So it starts letting go of them. But the amazing thing is, it doesn't take much to turn that around. I once met a woman named Doris, 82 years old, who started walking 5 minutes a day just to prove to her granddaughter that she could. That 5 minutes turned into 10, then 20. Now she walks every morning with her neighbor, rain or shine. She says it's the best part of her day, and you can see it in her posture, her energy, even in her smile. She feels alive. What matters most isn't the length of time or the intensity, it's the consistency. Whether it's walking around the block, stretching in the morning, gardening, dancing in your kitchen to old favorites, or doing a bit of gentle chair yoga, it all counts. It keeps your joints lubricated, your muscles engaged, and your blood circulating. Movement helps your body process sugar better, sleep more soundly, and even sharpens your mind. Speaking of the mind, movement is one of the best things you can do to protect your brain as you age. It increases blood flow to the brain, reduces the risk of memory issues, and releases those feel-good chemicals that help you stay emotionally balanced. That's right, just getting up and moving can actually make you happier. And let's talk about balance for a moment. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury in older adults, but many of those falls happen not because someone was clumsy, but because they lost strength in their legs or stopped using their core muscles. Simple things like standing on one leg while brushing your teeth, doing light leg lifts while sitting, or taking a walk on slightly uneven ground, like a park path, can quietly train your body to stay balanced. The beauty is, you don't need fancy equipment or a gym membership. You don't need to be athletic or even particularly energetic. You just need to move, a little every day. And if you miss a day, that's okay. Just start again tomorrow. Your body doesn't need perfection, it just needs persistence. Now, if you've been inactive for a while, don't worry. Start slow, start small. Even standing up and sitting down from a chair 10 times in a row can be a fantastic start. The goal isn't to push yourself until you're out of breath. It's to gently remind your body that it still has purpose, that it still has work to do. So if you're sitting right now and thinking, I should move more, but I don't know where to begin, try this. Stand up, take 3 slow steps, stretch your arms overhead. That's it. You've already started. And once you begin, even in the tiniest of ways, you'll notice that your body responds. It's like a garden. If you water it even a little, life starts to come back. And with that life comes more energy, better sleep, a clearer mind, and, yes, a better shot at staying strong and independent well beyond 70. Now let's shift gears a little and talk about something just as vital, something that affects everything from your heart to your brain to your immune system. It's one of the most underestimated keys to a long, healthy life, and it's probably sitting right on your plate. So we've talked about connection and movement, two powerful forces in staying strong as we age. Now let's talk about something a little more tasty, or at least it should be, because what you eat can either give your body what it needs to thrive or slowly wear it down. I know food advice these days can feel overwhelming. One minute they're telling you to eat eggs, the next they're the villain, then it's kale, then it's carbs. Who can keep up? But when you strip away all the confusion, it really comes down to this. As we get older, our bodies become a little more demanding. Not in a bad way, just in a way that says, hey, I need the right fuel now. I can't run on coffee and toast anymore. And the tricky part? Our appetite tends to shrink with age, just as our nutritional needs go up. It's like our stomachs are saying, that's enough, but our muscles and bones are quietly whispering, actually, I still need more. Especially more protein, more vitamins, and more real nourishment. One of the biggest reasons older folks start to lose strength after 70 is simple. They're not eating enough quality protein. And I don't mean giant steaks or protein shakes meant for bodybuilders. I mean things like eggs, beans, fish, chicken, tofu, lentils, even dairy like Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. These are gentle on the body but packed with what your muscles need to stay strong. And remember, muscle isn't just about looking fit. It's about getting out of bed without groaning, lifting a bag of groceries, or catching yourself if you stumble. Even just spreading a little more protein throughout the day, say a boiled egg with breakfast, a bit of tuna with lunch, and some beans or chicken at dinner, can make a huge difference. I've met folks who added a small handful of almonds and a bit of cheese in the afternoon and noticed they had more energy within a week. It's that simple. Now let's talk about something else that gets overlooked: hydration. I know it sounds basic, but you'd be surprised how many older adults walk around slightly dehydrated all the time. We lose our thirst cues as we age, so by the time we feel thirsty, we're already behind. And dehydration doesn't just make you feel tired. It can cause dizziness, confusion, constipation, and even make your skin more fragile. So here's a tip. Try keeping a glass of water nearby at all times. Sip throughout the day, even if you're not particularly thirsty. Herbal teas, diluted juice, even soups and water-rich fruits like watermelon or oranges can help. Your body will thank you, and so will your brain, because hydration plays a big role in memory and mood too. Speaking of mood, did you know that what you eat can affect how you feel emotionally? It's true. Processed foods, sugar-heavy snacks, and salty frozen dinners might be easy, but over time they can drag you down. Not just physically, but mentally. They zap your energy and can even mess with your emotions, making you feel more sluggish, irritable, or foggy. But foods rich in color, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, are like little packages of life. They help fight inflammation, protect your heart, and support your brain. They don't have to be fancy. A handful of blueberries, a banana, a sweet potato, or a bowl of vegetable soup can do wonders. And if cooking feels like a chore these days, that's okay too. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can keep it simple. Frozen veggies are just as good as fresh, and canned beans are a gift from the heavens when you don't feel like soaking anything. Throw them together with a bit of olive oil, some herbs, maybe a sprinkle of cheese, and you've got a meal that's both comforting and nourishing. I had a lovely conversation with a woman named Evelyn, 76, who told me she used to live on toast and tea most days, just out of habit. But she started adding more variety just a little at a time. A piece of fruit in the morning, a little tuna on whole grain bread, some steamed broccoli with dinner, and now she says she wakes up with more energy and doesn't feel that heavy tired that used to hit her by mid-afternoon. Eating well doesn't mean giving up everything you love. If you want your slice of cake or your chocolate chip cookie, have it. Just make sure it's part of a bigger picture that gives your body what it truly needs to stay active, alert, and strong. And don't forget, meals are also a great time to connect with others. If you can, eat with someone, invite a friend over, join a lunch group, or even share a meal over a video call with family. Eating isn't just fuel, it's life, it's joy. And when you eat well, you live well. Now that we've talked about nourishing the body through food, let's move into something that might be even more powerful. And it happens when you're not doing anything at all. So, we've talked about staying connected, moving more, and feeding your body well. But now I want to bring up something that might seem small, but is deeply powerful. It's something we tend to push aside as we age, either because we don't think it matters anymore or because life has just made it harder to find, and that's rest. Real, deep, restorative rest. And I'm not just talking about sleep, although that is absolutely part of it. I'm talking about rest in the truest sense, giving your body and mind time to reset, to recover, to heal. Because here's the truth, as we get older, recovery becomes more important than ever. You see, your body is like a wise old engine. It doesn't run on speed anymore. It runs on rhythm. And when that rhythm is off, when you're not getting enough good sleep, or you're pushing through mental stress without taking breaks, it throws everything else out of balance. Your immune system weakens, your memory falters, your energy drops. And over time, it takes a toll on how long you stay well. Now let's start with sleep, because for many people over 70, it becomes harder to come by. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night. Maybe you just don't sleep as deeply as you used to. That's normal. But that doesn't mean you have to accept poor sleep as your new normal. There are things you can do. One of the biggest things that helps is routine. Try going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even weekends. Create a bedtime ritual that signals to your body that it's time to wind down. Maybe that's reading a few pages of a book, listening to soft music, or sipping a warm, caffeine-free drink. Keep the lights dim, screens off, and let your mind know, we're slowing down now. Also, don't underestimate the power of the sun. Getting outside during the day, even just for 15 minutes, helps regulate your internal clock so your body knows when it's time to rest. It sounds simple, but it works. And while sleep is crucial, the kind of rest I'm talking about also includes emotional and mental rest. Because stress doesn't magically go away just because we retire or the kids are grown. In fact, for some people, aging brings new stresses about money, health, loss, or simply wondering, what now? It's okay to feel those things. What's not okay is carrying them silently, letting them wear you down inside. That's where emotional rest comes in. Maybe that's through talking to someone, a friend, a counselor, or even just writing in a journal. Maybe it's prayer or meditation, or sitting quietly in nature without distractions. Whatever it is, your mind needs rest just as much as your body does. And then there's something else, something beautiful that happens when you allow yourself space to rest and reflect. You begin to reconnect with purpose. One of the saddest things I hear from older adults is the idea that their best years are behind them, that the world no longer needs them. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You have wisdom, perspective, kindness, and patience that the world desperately needs right now. You're not done, not even close. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It might be growing tomatoes, calling your niece every week, painting watercolors, or passing down family stories. It might be showing up to a community group or simply being that neighbor who always has a kind word. These small acts, they matter. They give your days meaning. And meaning is what keeps us going. You see, the people who live well into their 80s, 90s, even hundreds, they're not always the strongest or richest or fittest. They're the ones who stay engaged, the ones who take care of their minds and hearts, the ones who rest when they need to, but never stop finding reasons to wake up with purpose. So if you take one thing away from this whole conversation, let it be this. Living long after 70 isn't just about avoiding disease or taking the right vitamins. It's about creating a life that still feels worth living, and you can do that at any age. Let me remind you of something beautiful. You are still capable of change. You are still worthy of health, happiness, connection, and joy. Whether you're 71 or 91, you can still choose to move, to reach out, to nourish your body, and to rest in ways that make life brighter. And if you're thinking, it's too late for me, I want you to know, it's not even close. Because the decisions you make today, however small, shape how tomorrow feels. It's never too late to start taking better care of the person who's carried you through every stage of life so far. You. So what do you say? Let's not just talk about adding years to life. Let's focus on adding life to those years. If this video has spoken to you, inspired you, or even just made you think a little differently about your next step, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button if this felt helpful, and don't forget to subscribe for more honest, empowering conversations like this. We're in this together, and there's so much more ahead. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.